Hi, welcome to Excel. Today we'll talk about different date formulas. We'll be talking about day, the day function, then the total days. In this, total is written in brackets. The formula is days. So there is a difference in day formula in Excel and days formula in Excel. So when it is plural, the functioning of the formula differs considerably. So day and days formula are very different formulas that we use in Excel. So we'll discuss what's the subtle difference in between day and days. So there is a project here, data of a IT project, where there are certain project names and they have started on a particular date. Like these are the particular date where the project was started, and the project was ended on these particular dates. So to calculate the number of days that had that they were working on, the number of days that the project was done. So to you do this, we have to use the day formula, and now the syntax is this: day is equal to date. So you have to write day and give the date as a reference. So we'll see how it works. Is equal to day. So we got open parenthesis, write that, and here we can see it's serial number. So serial number refers to nothing but the date here. You can see what is serial number, it refers to date. So okay, so we'll give the serial number. Serial number, we'll take the mm, end date. Okay, this end date we are taking, and we'll just close the parenthesis the and then enter. So you're getting 19. So what it is returning is, so 19 December 2021, it is returning 19, the day of the date. Okay, returning the day of the date. And suppose if I drag this, okay, hold this uh, the left mouse button and click on the left mouse button and just drag it. So then you'll get the same formula gets copied here. So, and it takes the relative reference here. It is taking C. Here it is taking D2 as a cell. You can see it is D2. And here it is taking D3. D3 is the reference. The formula is the same, but the cell is different. So it is taking this cell as a 20th October 2021. So that is the date which is taken. So it is returning the date. So day formula is going to give you the day of the date. Then the difference in days is, let's do this formula to know the difference, is equal to days, open parenthesis. So we can see here there is something called end date and there is something called start date. So if you can see this, I've written it here in this days formula has end date and start date. So the number of days, it returns the number of days between 2 days. So how do you calculate that? Uh, so end date will take this the same uh, cell reference D2 and comma, put the comma. And what is the start date for this project? Here it is written in cell number C2. So we have entered both, and now we'll close the parenthesis and press enter. So the total number of days that were taken to do the cloud sync project was 350 days. So which we are verifying it here. So the same thing. So next we'll do it one more again. So is equal to days, then open parenthesis and take the end date from D column D3 and start date from C3. Well, it's the start date. And always remember, your end date should be, okay, so we'll press enter and we got the total number of days between this. So always remember that your end date, here is the end date, it should always be bigger than your start date. If it is smaller, the end date is lesser. Suppose here it's 4th February and this is in October 2021. Because I change it here from October, so I'm getting it, these are the number of days. But if I change it to 01, okay, to Jan, so we'll change the date to Jan in the formula bar. So let's see now, this is going to be your end date, and let's see what exactly. So we are getting the total number of days as minus 15. So here, so the formula is giving a negative result. So always see that whenever you do base formula or work on base formula, your end date should be uh, bigger, larger than uh, the start date. So we'll go back to this. So you have got this formula. Let's copy down the formula of days. We've already taken the date. So to know this, we'll just drag it so that all the formula is copied. So the difference between the day of the date of the end date is given here. And here, if you drag the same formula, the days. So this is the days formula. And if you drag it by holding the left mouse button and click it and then release it here. So since here we have only minus 15 and even here we have September 2023. So you have negative values here and you have negative values here. Uh, so that is because your end date is lesser than your start date. So you should be careful of this situation to avoid it. And a simpler way to know the days between 2 days, okay, is without using any formula, just type the two cells. Like now, we'll come back. We'll do this formula again. So is equal to, okay, now what's the difference between the 2 days? You just have to subtract it. So take the end date, which is selected D2, and just put minus and select C2 and then just enter. So you have got 350, which is equal to this. So you can either use the days formula or you can just directly subtract the end date from the start date. So let's copy down the formula again and see. Yeah, we are getting the same result. So either you use the day formula here, like enter the end date and start date is the day formula, or you use the uh, this the you use the normal like subtraction where you do the and subtract the start date from the end date. So either ways you get the correct result. So there's one more method. There's one more method. One second. Just go back to this. I'll do this formula again. End date is this. And start date is this. Yeah. So now we'll go back to Datedif formula. So what is Datedif formula is? Okay, this is the type of uh, formula where you can also know the difference between two dates. Now, how did we arrive at this? The syntax here is Datedif. You give a start date and end date. So here, if you see this, it is the start date that is given here as the first option, and then the end date is given as a second option, and then you have something called as unit. So you have this unit. So what exactly this unit means is this unit is denotes the time unit, which it can return in years, months, or days. Okay. So let's see the data difference here. Data diff that 350. So what cell have we taken? The same cell, which is 3rd Jan and 19 December, and we've got this with the data diff. We'll repeat the formula here. Okay, well, is equal to dated diff. Make sure the spellings are correct. Spelling of the formula is correct. Otherwise, you get a name error. Now, in dated diff, you take the start date, okay, and then the end date, okay, and then you have to give it whether you want the result in days or months or years. So let's do first with days. So I'll put inverted punctuate quotation marks and then write D and then quotation marks and just close a parenthesis and enter. So I've got this in 350. Yes, I've got it in 350, which is equal to this. So Datedif also again gives the difference between 2 days, but there's no flexibility with Datedif. We can write the same formula. Here again, we're going to take the same cell is equal to Datedif. Okay, and we'll take the reference of this start date, then comma, and then we'll take the end date here. Okay, and then we'll do what? So we can enter the, what we are doing is we are taking this Datedif, start date, end date, and we want it in months. So we'll write M, okay? Put the punctuation marks, put M, and then again. Now close the parenthesis and press enter. So let's see what we'll get. So the difference between the 2 days is, okay, the start date and end date is 11 months. So you're getting in months. Okay, so this is how you get it in months. And if you want to get it in years, kind of, so you can just have to press the same thing and do it in years is equal to Datedif. Sorry, spelling mistake. There's a spelling mistake. Datedif. See this, and we'll enter the same columns again. Start date. Okay, we'll enter the start date here, comma, and the end date is in D2. So let's select this one again. And now we want the answer in the result between the 2 days in years. So put punctuation marks and then write Y, close the punctuation marks and the parenthesis. We just write enter. So why getting 0 here? Because it's only 11 months. So if it was 12 months, uh we would get 1 year. Since it is 11 months, we're not getting any return when we are writing the derivative in years. So now coming back to the formula of using days formula, there is one more modification in days formula that is useful for your data analysis. Suppose there's a project where you're right now working on and you want to know like how many days have passed since the start date. So you in that condition from today, how many days have passed since the start date. So you have to consider the formula today and you have to include the formula days also. So you have to combine both of them to know how many days we have been working since the start date till today. So that is how this formula will work. So for this one, we have taken the first column. If you can see in the formula bar, it is days, then today. You can see here again today, and you have taken the cell reference of start date. So this today reference is coming in the value of end date, okay, because today is end date that you will consider. So we'll do this formula again and see how it will work. Let's delete all this. Now, we should know how many days have passed from today since the project started. So we'll first write the days, how many days we want. Now, since it is from today we want to know, so let's enter today. Okay, and the today formula. Okay, sorry, we are in the, yeah, here we have to enter. Again, I pressed, okay, that's my mistake. Now press shift and brackets. Now end date will be your today. Okay, and your start date is January 2026. Now close it. So yeah, so what will press now? We have to press enter, and the number of days that have been passed since the start date is for this project is 20 days. That means our cloud same project, we have been working on this project since 20 days. Now, if you do the same thing, we'll do the same formula again. Uh, Take to call the number of days, use the days formula and parenthesis and end date. Again, you have to give today. Open the parenthesis and close it. Then write a comma. And for the start date, you take the reference cell here and then you put it. Close the parenthesis and just enter. So here we have got 353. So the number of days for this project, Secure Bay, since the start date till today was 353. So you've been working on this project since 353 days. So this is how you will know like how many days you have taken to do the project from the start date till today. So where you combine day, days and today formula. Okay, so you can see days and today formula. So let's drag it to know for the different the total days that are there from today for the other projects as well. So we'll have to hold the left mouse button and click on it, press on it, and just drag it down and release the button. So this is how you get the total days from today. So this is coming in thousands because the project was started, HR Connect was started in 2023. So the number of days are more than, since it's more than 3 years, so you're getting the number of days, okay, in 1098. So these are subtle differences that you need to remember between day and days. Many get confused between day and days. If at all you don't remember the formula of days, and if you want to know the total days, so this is the formula of days. Days where you take the end day and the start date. Okay, and if you don't remember the formula, just what you do is you a much easier thing is you take the cell reference D2, which is the end date, and then cell P2. P2 is the start date. So this is another simple way of doing the days. So this is how you will know the days between different times. With this will come to the end of the session. The next video will be talking about network days and the difference in network days and work days. Until then, bye. Thank you.